Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
Oh, boy. Okay. Before we get into it, I know it's been a while. Go ahead and go to your social medias, your wherever you get your podcasts, all that good stuff, YouTube, wherever.
All your web zones.
Follow, like, subscribe, comment. We do, we do fan reviews every 5 episodes.
Got another recommendation from one of you. I assure you it's been added.
Yeah, so keep adding them, and we'll keep doing them. We got quite a list, so
Yes, indeed.
Whatever you want us to review, put it in there, and we'll get to it. So, yeah, that's it. Sorry, delaying the inevitable. We tonight, for our first time back in like 3 weeks, we watched The Oracle.
The Oracle.
From 1985.
Continuing our journey, yeah.
Directed by Roberta Findlay. Wow.
Keep talking. I'm looking something up.
So,
because I want to know something.
I mean, one good thing I can say about this movie is it filmed entirely on location in New York City. Yes. And the accents are on full effect.
Especially
they are great.
There's a bit in the beginning where it's just a whole run of amazing accents.
It is, yes. And like you get Brooklyn, like a bunch of...
It's comical.
It's great. It's always good to see,
local flavor.
Well, it's local flavor. It's always good to see stuff filmed on location.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah, because sets kind of look a little weird sometimes. So it is nice to see on location.
See that like, I don't know, realism, whatever.
Can you tell by the fact that I said one good thing about it is...
How dare you?
Listen, The Oracle, spoiler alert, not a very good movie.
No, it's not.
It tries.
Well,
it really does.
This
what?
Well, first of all, this director, as director, before this film, this masterpiece. How dare you say it's not a good movie? Before this masterpiece,
you're right. It's the best movie I've ever seen.
They made such films as Private Schoolgirls.
Oh my God.
The Playgirl. Liquid Assets, and the ass is like highlighted.
Capitalize it,
Yeah. The Tiffany Minx.
So wait a minute. You're telling me Roberta Findlay,
anyone but my husband,
in the 80s directed pornos?
In the 70s and up until this film,
this was
made pornos.
Her?
Yes, this is a woman.
So her feature film was The Oracle.
From what I can tell, her first non-porno was The Oracle.
Her first feature non-porno film was this?
Yes.
I can tell you straight up, there is no desire in me to go and look up those pornos whatsoever after seeing what was on display here.
How dare you? My pee-pee was so hard watching this, especially the chase scene at the end.
That beautiful, beautiful chase scene.
Now, do you want the other bamboozle for you?
Oh, God, what?
Roberta Findlay was married to Michael Findlay, who also made pornos. He also made... Do you remember a film
Oh, Jesus Christ.
called Shriek of the Mutilated?
Yes.
With the fucking Shaggy dog?
Yeah, I do.
He made that.
So,
we got a family affair.
So this runs in the fucking family.
We got
My God. And that was dumb as fuck, too.
We got a fucking...
Oh, sorry, that was incredible, too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
No. I will say... here, okay. Listen, I will say this is more competent than that was.
That is fair. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. This is more competently made, but still just it's fucking
maybe
stupid.
because I don't know. Maybe
Amazing. Sorry.
Maybe Roberta was the better filmmaker. Maybe
Yeah.
we've had that was 74. We've had 11 years of filmmaking progress since then, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is not that bad as that movie. But this is still a doozy.
It is. It is that. It is a doozy. Pretty basic plot here. I mean, to be honest, like there's an oracle in the beginning, and she's doing a bunch of mystic shit, and she has this fucking hand with a pin in it,
and it writes
names. Mordar.
It writes something
like more something.
No. It writes something, and she's like Mord.
I can't.
Mord.
I can't.
I can't. I won't. And then it just
credits. Well, I mean, just like the title comes up.
Just the title.
And then it's people moving shit out of her apartment.
Stuff.
And they're talking about how she like disappeared, and they haven't seen her, so they're just getting rid of all this stuff.
Because there's a new woman moving in.
Yeah, and so they're like, oh, it's finally going back to normal, like, And
she goes into a storage closet.
Well, she goes into like a trance, sees the chest glowing green,
which is a common thing. She opens it, and like nothing happens, and she closes it, and then the guy,
he's like the super of the building.
Yeah, he basically tells her, it was owned by this woman. She was into like mysticism. She vanished. But if you want this thing, take it.
Well, he's like, you can pick one thing out. Like, it doesn't matter. And so of course, she takes the planchette.
She takes the
off-brand Ouija board.
I joked at some point during the movie. I was like, they couldn't use the actual Ouija board.
Yeah.
Because it would run into copyright. And after the movie ended, I looked it up, and Parker Brothers, who owns the rights, wouldn't let him use it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the rock hand with a pen, with a quill.
Let me tell you, it does not look great.
It's fine.
It's fine for what it is, but
instead of
listen, that's not the worst part of the movie, okay?
No.
So,
but instead of like the Ouija board where it like spells out the letters on the board, it picks it like by
it like draws
them,
names.
It writes it. So it's just a pen that writes.
So she's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna try it at like my Christmas party. So
you're invited.
So they're all like having like.
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yep. So now we get our first look at our killers here.
We get a shot of something nighttime. It's like outside of a dirty movie theater.
Yeah, it's like a burlesque. I can't remember what the sign said, but
beef?
Yeah, where's the beef? It's a men's burlesque.
4 hunky, beefy men.
So we see this like heavier set person
walking, and like a prostitute being like, "Hey,"
picks up a prostitute,
wants some action. And this person doesn't say anything, by the way.
No,
the prostitute is just like tags along and is like, "Okay, $20, no freaky stuff." And they go into a room, and you don't see the person's face.
Well, and the prostitute is already like in her lingerie, and is just like confused because the person's not talking.
And then the person says, like,
"Get lower." I think the audio is very
like get lower or
fuzzy
or down more.
Down
or
more.
Something.
I don't know.
So she lays like flat down. This person climbs on top and starts like kind of like thrusting. And the woman's like, "Okay, listen.
What are you, gay or something? Can you not?
You gotta have
to
do more than that. Like,
and
what's
like
the deal?
Like reaches into this person's pants, and is like, "Oh,
I'm sorry, I
didn't know." And this person apparently doesn't like that because they pull out a knife and start like telling her to lick it and all
lick
stuff.
The blade, yeah.
And then the person stabs her, like cuts her down to her breasts, and then like stabs her a bunch.
And blood sprays everywhere, and
doesn't get on the clothes. I don't know how.
The hands.
Yeah.
And then it's still like hiding the face for no reason, I might add.
Because at this point, like
all know.
you know
Because
what's going on. It's
we
a
know
woman.
because number one, the face is hidden. Number two, there's the whole thing where it very heavily implies that she got no pee-pee, and then there's the voice.
I just don't know if
It's a feminine voice. Like it's like she's trying to sound like deeper, but it's unmistakably feminine.
know right away that she's a woman.
And here's the thing: they don't keep up the charade.
Not for long.
Halfway through the movie, they give up, so it doesn't matter. But
I don't get why they hit it in the first place.
But yeah, like
it literally has no impact on the movie whatsoever.
Because she goes.
Because there's not like a big bazinga, like nothing. She's a woman. It just happens.
Yeah, she goes to a diner and orders this is set around Christmas.
The Christmas special. And eats all the bones.
Then the phone starts ringing. And she answers the phone and is like, yeah, it's done, or whatever.
So she leaves a small tip, and then the waitress mentions she eats all the bones.
She even ate the bones. In the meantime, there is a Christmas party happening. Christmas Eve party.
Yes, so this woman is going to reveal her planchette spiritual board.
I got a game. Let's have some fun.
So they all put their finger on it, and one of the guys, the friends, like feels up his date, and she's like, "Stop it!" And then the woman jokes around by spelling out "horny."
I'm horny.
I'm horny on the
and she's
paper.
Like, come on, guys, it's not a joke. And then, she holds your hand on it still, and it spells out
a guy's name and a phone number.
Not yet. It spells out "help me."
Oh, help me! Yeah, that's right. And I love. Okay, so introducing our dickhead husband that doesn't support his wife a single iota.
This dude is...
Stop me if you've heard this one before in a horror movie about poltergeist or something or spiritual shit where the woman, everyone just thinks the woman is going crazy, including the husband.
See, I don't care about that. It's just funny because this dude is completely 100% inconsequential.
Yeah, it does not matter at all.
Like, completely inconsequential.
I mean, he gets it. So I mean,
yeah, but again, it's still inconsequential because
I know it doesn't matter at all.
Never comes up.
She never mentions him.
Well, she never finds out really.
Yeah,
but like everything about him is just inconsequential. Other than the fact that he doubts her the whole way, along with every other character in this movie, is completely disconnected.
Yes.
Completely disconnected. Except for the psycho killers, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, so he reads it out, and he's like, oh, that's crazy. Like, you just wrote that. Yeah.
They go to bed, and, she's, like, annoyed at him because he's treating her like a child or whatever. And then it's... It draws out... I think she's asleep.
Then it draws out the guy's name and a phone number.
While she's asleep, yeah.
Yes.
She wakes up, she hears the screech, the noise of the pen, and the whole room's bathed in green. And she opens it, and, she, looks at the note and is, horrified, and the guy's like, it's no big deal. And then it's the next...
So they're working on Christmas Day, if you can wrap your head around that.
How dare you?
In this universe, they do. So her friend is like, well, why don't you just call it and see what's going on?
It's probably just like a Chinese restaurant.
And
it's no big deal.
The friend calls the number and talks to this guy's wife,
who says he committed suicide.
He committed suicide.
And then it shows the office, this office. And this woman talking to this guy.
I love this guy because he's so smug about every line he does. Well, what? Because she's like, some woman just called and wanted to know and said, she was a friend and wanted to know about this guy.
But she didn't know that he was dead.
And he's like, oh, that shouldn't matter.
Maybe just a secretary.
Maybe just a secretary. And squints his eyes and rolls his head back. He's like, maybe just a secretary.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It doesn't matter. It's just flavor,
It's flavor.
It's flavor. So, they. Oh God! What?
The thing I remember after this, and I might be skipping over some nonsense, is the part where she does something. What triggered the fucking cyclone in the room?
Okay, so the husband wants to throw away the planchette thing.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of talking about it a lot and like.
No, but she tosses it in the bin.
Right. Well, because she agrees that like maybe she's kind of
nonsense, yeah.
going bonkers, and so she tries to throw it in a waste basket that isn't really a waste. It's like a woven basket. It doesn't look like a trash can at all.
It's like decorative, yeah.
And the chest takes that personally.
And I took that personally.
So basically, the husband's coming home, and there is just shit flying off the walls.
It knocks over.
Books
all
are
the
just
frames,
being like
the books,
shoved
the
off.
Christmas tree, and it acts like it tips the room slightly askew.
Well,
she's like struggling.
She has to like crawl to the door.
And it puts like a big shoe rack in front of the door too, so it blocks the door, so he can't get it.
Yeah, so she can't get it, and then he finally gets in after a minute, and it like just thinks she's fucking crazy. Why would you destroy the entire apartment? And then it just quick cuts to the next morning. Like literally, okay, so this is how jarring this is. He's like berating her.
He says he's gonna throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to the
super.
Yeah.
Oh, this is right. That's right, because this is where the super is going to incinerate it.
First the super tries to get lottery numbers out of it.
Well, yeah, because remember, like the husband is like, hey, like, can you like just put this in the incinerator?
He's like, yeah, sure.
And the guy's like, yeah. So he
ideas.
tries to like get the planchette to tell him the winning lottery numbers for tomorrow, because he can connect with the spirits and they know shit.
But it doesn't.
When he's like, you're not powerful at all.
And so he closes it.
Why?
It starts glowing green.
Like a little green squid thing crawls out of the chest.
And then it starts glowing green, and he opens it and is like horrified at what he sees, and then closes it, and then you see the little green
on his
squid
leg,
puppet
but it's not really on his leg.
And he's hallucinating. Then he sees like a red squid on his arm
with like teeth,
and he takes a knife.
He just starts stabbing himself.
And then eventually there's a green squid thing on his eyeball, and so he takes the thing and he stabs himself in the head. And then it's the night, and the woman and her husband are asleep.
Yeah.
And
she like leaves the TV on, and it like starts like blaring the like no broadcast signal.
And then she wakes up, and
she tries to turn off the TV, and it's not turning off.
And a skull comes on the TV, and then she's all a dream.
Who knew? Okay, so I'm not trying to spoil anything. Who knew the skull in the TV? Because it looks okay, because they don't show it that much. Who knew it would look that stupid at the end of the movie?
That's not the same one though, because the skull doesn't have the giant eyes. You know I'm right.
Doesn't look like a marionette.
It doesn't look like a spirit Halloween puppet.
Yeah, sorry, we're getting too ahead of ourselves, but
the skull is just the skull. It's the skull. It is the skull though that flies through the glass window.
Yeah,
and kills our fuckhead.
So she starts screaming and like just going crazy.
Zaps out of it. Turns the TV off. She hears noises. No, she doesn't hear anything. She just goes in the bathroom. She literally just goes in the bathroom, and then turns on the water, and then there's green light coming out of her shower, and then she sees like the claws coming through the shower.
So she gets all freaked out.
She runs out, and then she sees the super, his like body all cut up with the knife in his eye.
coming at her.
And she wakes up again,
and he's like the husband is like, you're having a nightmare. Oh yeah, that's right. This is like the juxtaposition here. He's being all sweet. He's like, oh, you're having a nightmare, honey. Like, are you okay? Like quick cut to him being a total fucking asshole.
He's not being an asshole. It's just like a comedy scene because he's at like breakfast with a comically large newspaper.
And there she is, like stereotypical, like Betty homemaker,
making breakfast. And then he's just reading, and she just stands there, blank, and is about to like give him coffee, and his coffee mug just starts sliding across the table, and then it falls and breaks, and he's like, "Careful, honey. Okay, I gotta go to work. Bye."
Totally oblivious to the fact that she was across the room and couldn't have possibly done that. But okay.
But the thing that also kind of broke me is she's just like, the look on her face is just of like giving up. She sits at the table, and he laid his newspaper down over his breakfast, right? And she lifts up the newspaper, and it's the fucking chest.
Gotcha,
and
bitch.
Then she just like face palms.
She doesn't actually facepalm, but that'd be hilarious. Oh no, she kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
she kind of does. That's right.
Like
well, she's supposed to be like distraught because it's back, but it's a facepalm of like, this is such a stupid fucking scene.
It's a facepalm of like mild annoyance.
Like wah wah.
Yeah, like that. You might as well have played the sound effect. I don't even know.
And then so, is this where she goes to the bookstore?
I think so.
So, because I don't know why this scene broke, or do they set up the hitman first to go after her?
I'm trying to remember at what point
like,
does she go to the?
Because I know there's a scene where the hitmen are like, "Hey, she's looking too much into this."
Well, it's because at what point does she have the vision of the fucking guy dying?
I think because she goes and talks to the husband's wife at a certain point.
Yeah, because she has the vision.
And that's where the hitmen kind of have that.
But it's because she talks to the husband's wife because she sees him dying. Remember? I still remember when she has the vision.
I don't know. We're gonna do this out of sequence probably, but so she has a vision of the husband dying,
of him being dragged by two guys. One of them is the hit woman.
And one of them is the scrawny, like, smug guy.
And it's him being dragged and put in this car.
And they put the exhaust on and put the tube through the car.
And he dies.
They have him commit suicide, basically. Yeah. Make it look like a suicide.
She sees this, and she goes and visits the wife and tells her all this. And that's when, she's like, I know, like, she's explaining the scene of the death. And she's like, oh, that's here at the factory. And she takes her there, and she like reenacts it kind of, and the smug guy is there and he sees it, and that's when he
and that's when the husband's wife is like, like she's looking into this, and that's when he's like, okay, well
he doesn't
they don't reveal that she
doesn't tell him anything because he sees her there.
So he gets with the woman and the hit woman, and is like, hey, like, you need to take her out because she's looking too far into this. She knows that we did something.
No witnesses.
Yeah. And so, oh my God, this is so fucking stupid. So they're having a New Year's Eve party, and so they're celebrating, and they see the woman. She's talking to her friend and trying to explain what happened, and the friend's like, this is crazy. Like,
no one listens to her.
Like, what are you doing? Of course. It's just stereotypical horror shit. So, and then she sees the hit woman carrying like a champagne tray.
Of champagne, yeah.
And she's just dressed as a maid, like a female server.
Yeah. But
she's not like in her like baggy clothes or anything. Yeah. She's just a server.
She's in disguise, like I'm watching a fucking Hitman skit.
So the woman gets kind of like, I don't know, like nervous, goes outside for some air. And there's like a drunk guy that like walks past the husband. It's kind of important because he wakes up and he walks past the husband and the friend because they're complaining about the wife being crazy.
Yeah. And
how like they don't know what to do. Her mystical
basically. Shenanigans, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna throw it away. I need to like get rid of it. So the drunk guy walks past them. You don't see where he goes, but you know in a minute. So she goes outside. She sees the drunk guy laying on like a bench, and it's snowing. And the hit woman. If you ever played Hitman games, if you're into video games, if you've played the Hitman series, this would be the worst mission run ever.
How do you fuck this up? But they did.
the hit woman fucks everything up in every scene she's in.
Because she goes over, because the woman's standing by a ledge, and she goes over and is like, just kind of grabs her and just kind of starts tussling. Like, she's obviously trying to throw her over the ledge, but the way she's doing it is just not it.
So they like struggle, and she tries to throw her over, and then the drunk guy like starts talking to her, and the other woman can get away.
And then the hit woman punches him, and he just kind of laughs.
So
and then she goes in
to the kitchen.
No, she gets dragged into the kitchen.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So she's by the kitchen. She gets dragged into the kitchen by the hit woman. They start struggling.
The hit woman turns on the stove
and tries to burn her face, but then she grabs like a pot of hot tea.
That's not hot.
That's clearly not hot, and pours it on her face.
And it apparently hurts her, and then she lightly bonks her on the head.
I love the dong.
With a frying pan, and then she goes and tells everyone, like, there's someone trying to kill me, but I killed her.
They're like, fine, let's go into the kitchen and see, because it's all happening while the countdown for New Year's Eve is happening. And they go into the kitchen, and the hit woman's not there.
So again, they all just say she's crazy.
Yeah. So this is when she goes. At some point, she goes to a bookstore, and it's inconsequential because I was laughing so hard I couldn't.
See, the funny thing is, the funny thing is, Will, this scene could have explained something, but you were losing your fucking mind.
Okay, I don't know why. I really don't understand it.
This scene broke you.
Something snapped. I don't know what it was. Probably no one else will think it's funny at all.
Snapped is a good way to put it, because
like no one else will think this is funny. I have no idea why I thought it was funny.
It's like one of those like metaphysical stores. It sells like, like all sorts of like stuff on like witchcraft and whatever.
I just lost my shit because the fucking bookstore owner looks like he was like called during a round of golf or like dealing poker. Like it's so weird because he's in like slacks, a cardigan, a collared shirt, and then for some fucking reason, I have no idea why, he has like a dealer's like plastic green visor. I don't know why, but seeing that image, just like, I think it was because I thought of like a scenario where they like called this guy in the middle of like
someone's grandpa,
like he was like clearly doing something where he needed the visor or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, oh fuck, I gotta do it now. And they're like, yeah, like you said you would.
You said you would.
And
4 o'clock.
And he's like, fine. How long is this scene? All right, for like 5 minutes. Okay, I'll come in.
And then he comes in, and then I guess nobody bothered telling him.
They're like, Frank, you gotta take off the visor. And he's like, I'm not fucking taking off the visor. I got shit to do. I got people to see.
Well, either like he refused to, or they just didn't even bother telling him.
Or that's legitimately how they wanted to dress him for the movie. I don't agree with that, but like, I don't want to think that scenario, but that might have been. I don't want to. I just want to think they interrupted this poor old man's day and wanted him to film a scene, and he refused to take off the visor.
That is the lore I'm sticking with.
Yep. That's probably why I lost my shit. I don't know why. No one else will think that was funny.
But you lost your shit.
But I loved it, and it could have explained a lot, but who fucking cares? It's this terrible movie. So so now she goes back to the house, and the husband has had it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm fucking throwing this thing away. I'm incinerating it. Like, it keeps coming back. We're just getting rid of it. So he wants to throw it in the incinerator. So he goes to the incinerator.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Not yet. You're missing a lot.
What am I?
You're missing where she goes into the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. And she, like, locks herself in the bathroom, and, like, it starts writing kill?
Which means nothing.
It doesn't.
Means fucking nothing.
The scene goes nowhere.
And then eventually she goes... Oh, my God. We also had a scene where the hit woman is, like, all beat up, and she, like, calls the guy and is like, it didn't work. Screw you. Like, I'm doing it my way. I'm going to kill her my way. Because apparently the stupid maid servant idea was his idea.
That's right. And she's walking... This is just after the bookstore.
She goes to...
She's walking down the street.
Yes.
And the hit woman decides... She's failed too many times, okay? So she decides that she's just going to do... vehicular manslaughter.
So she tries running her over on the sidewalk, which doesn't work, and then
But the woman runs into the like
like an little art gallery museum, and then she's walking around, and we get like a fucking 5-minute long awkward chase with just footsteps.
dude. All the chases in this movie are awkward.
Fair.
We're gonna get to a very
My
awkward
favorite.
one, which is the lamest on foot chase. One of the lamest I've ever seen.
Forgot a scene. Completely forgot a scene. There's a scene where the woman, I think it's actually right before this happens. Maybe she goes to her like therapist.
Oh yeah, and the therapist doesn't fucking help at
The
all.
therapist doesn't believe her. The therapist just tells her, "I'm gonna go to your apartment today, and we will both burn the thing, the planchette."
So she goes to the apartment, and the woman's not there.
She's there. Remember?
Oh no,
She's like in a trance.
yeah. And so the therapist is walking around and starts hearing something, gets horrified by something. We don't see anything in this scene.
And then runs into the elevator.
Runs into the elevator and sees something, and then like apparently
The scene ends.
dies.
The scene literally ends.
Question mark? I have no idea.
And then after that, yeah, she tries to kill her at the art gallery.
We
And
get
then
the slow foot chase.
she runs into a cop, and he also thinks she's crazy.
She thinks
So he
immediately
sends her-
thinks she's fucking insane.
He sends her to the nut house.
So they go to the nut house and like
Then at this point, we get this scene where the husband is like drunk and annoyed that she's not home, and so he like goes.
well,
to the...
you see, she wasn't there to make him dinner.
Yes, and we
Okay.
also get a table
She wasn't being a good housewife.
full of like empty bottles to indicate that he's been drinking.
She wasn't being a good stereotypical housewife.
Yeah, and then he goes to the bathroom and finds the thing. This is where
He's
he goes
like-
to the incinerator.
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself."
And then he's gonna throw it in there, and then green light comes out.
I don't get why. So he like it is so stupid because he sets it down to shove some more stuff into the
because
incinerator,
it's like so full that he has to shove it away.
and then like fucking demon hands come out of the incinerator
Grab his head
and just tear it off his body,
and tear it off his body, and that is the end of that.
and he's never mentioned ever again.
And meanwhile,
There's no mourning, but you know what? Good riddance.
like I said, it is his character, and almost every other character in the movie is completely 100% inconsequential.
Yes.
Zero consequences. And she's in the hospital, and at this point, the hit woman is like, "Fuck this. You do it yourself, Mr. Smug."
Yeah.
So he shows up at the hospital just as doctor, and he goes in there with like an injection of something, and then you hear like,
So he like sees the window glowing green,
and then you see the
and
skull head
like a skull comes shooting out of the window
blast through the window,
so hard
and all the
that all the glass just impales this man.
all over his body and his eye. And
I
then the
lo-
woman wakes up screaming.
I love it because she's like screaming. He's covered in blood and glass everywhere in a hospital, and the nurse runs into it. And you would think, okay, so picture this scene: the nurse runs in, a woman is screaming on her bed, and a man is completely covered in literal glass, just gigantic shards just protruding out of his body. Her reaction is, "Stay there,"
But-
and then lightly jogs.
But it doesn't matter because this nurse never comes up again. The woman runs out, and like 2 doctors see her, and they start chasing her.
Dude.
And they get bogged down by like 5 crazy people.
Well, like
who lightly start patting.
they don't
them.
even do anything. They just like start talking. It looks like almost like they're just having like a casual
But they're
conversation
like,
with them.
Stop it! Stop
Like-
it! Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it. Yeah, it's like they just like get annoyed, like stopped by being annoyed.
And then
They
another,
send
like,
an orderly after her.
and he looks bored out of his mind. chasing
They're
her.
filming him like running, and he could not look more bored. Like,
And then she gets to like the elevators, and he catches up to her and like grabs her, and then two crazy people
They're
start
here.
patting him.
Here they come to annoy him.
And he's like, stop it, stop it,
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop
And then
it!
my favorite is there's a shot of like the two doctors from earlier, and they're on the ground now, and the like crazy people are just like patting them.
They're just patting.
And they're just
them?
like, stop it, get
Stop
off me,
it.
get off me.
Like there's
Stop it.
there's no imminent danger whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not like they're dangerous. They're just like
they're not like ripping them to shreds or like stabbing them or
they film
anything.
the scene as if they're like tearing them apart, but they're just like patting.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
And then the woman, she runs out of the hospital and immediately runs into the wife of the dead guy.
Yes.
And she's like, come with me.
She's like, okay, and she gets in the car, and I don't know how she didn't notice, but the hit woman is sitting right next to her.
Yes. And then she grabs her, and then they drive to the factory, and the woman's going to close the garage, and
It like
elbows her.
It's foreshadowing. She tries to close the garage and it malfunctions, but doesn't close
What's the foreshadow?
because there's sparks coming off of it. Did you not see that?
Okay. What is the consequence of that? Exactly.
That's what happened. I mean, I'm just explaining the scene.
A foreshadowing just means something happens later.
Well, because in the end of the movie, it does close.
Okay. Such consequences.
Yeah. Listen, there's no such thing as a coincidence, okay?
Oh, there's no coinky dinks at all.
No.
She fucking elbows the woman and then runs into the factory.
I
and she's
love
like,
this.
Get her.
Here's another really fucking stupid foot chase.
This scene was like the filmmakers rubbing their fucking genitals on me.
I love it because the hit woman grabs an axe off the wall, but then immediately gets winded every scene, like multiple times in the scene. She she leans against a wall.
Our woman runs into like a dead end, and the hit woman finally catches up and is all winded with the axe. She's like, no, and then she raises it and then swings it, and it literally is like 3 feet off. She smashes it into a box.
Like a blind person could hit this woman.
Ray Charles would hit this shit faster, okay?
she swings and hits a box.
Hits a box, and it gets stuck.
What's weird is she hits a box. She can see the woman right in front of her, and she hits a box to the right of her. I don't understand.
And it gets stuck. And the woman runs away, and
it's a cardboard box. How was it stuck?
And I'm like, am I being played? And then she runs into a room full of fucking
canister, barrels,
and then hides. And the woman is walking up to where she's hiding, and then you see the fucking Spirit Halloween decoration.
I love this. It's like this paper mache skeletal man, which is hilarious.
I'll get you. I killed you. I'll do it again.
Which is hilarious because I love how the movie makes it a point to say that he died 3 weeks ago.
He's already
fully decomposed.
Yeah.
Like in 3 weeks?
Almost a skeleton.
Damn, bruh, that's a fast decomposition.
And she swings the axe and hits a barrel and it sprays acid.
Listen, in this movie, they loved just pouring shit onto these hit women for some reason.
Well, this has more consequences than the room temperature coffee.
Well, yeah, because it fucking, face melts her.
Melts her face and her hands, too. And then, so she's dead.
I will argue, best effects in the movie, though.
No, this is by far the best actual effect. I mean, the fucking, I didn't mind the dude getting his head torn off, but this is better. So she's dead. And then the woman, what the fuck? Okay, I don't even remember what the fuck went down. I just remember the wife.
Well, remember the wife gets up,
finds the body,
gets horrified, tries to go.
Oh yeah, no, she's in there, and then she hears the car starting.
Yeah.
Because the woman ran out to the garage and got in her car and is driving away very slowly.
Yep.
And so the wife gets into the car that she killed the husband in.
Oh my god.
She gets in the car and immediately is filling up with gas.
Yeah, but she's like coughing and everything, and then she sees
the Spirit Halloween.
The Spirit Halloween doll with like the puppeteer shoving these little tiny hands into her face, and then like he does the whole like stretch and like put your arm over your wife kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like, and then you just see him like hanging out with her as they just shove this puppet against this actress,
and she dies.
And then so we get a scene
of a room
where it kind of shows the first part of the movie, because in the first part you see like a falcon, like a taxidermy
all this
falcon.
like decor,
and a taxidermy falcon, and then it shows the Oracle. In this scene, you see the taxidermy falcon and the same decor, and then it just shows her, like the main woman.
She's now the Oracle.
As the Oracle, and then it ends.
That's the fucking movie.
God damn it, dude. Like, I don't even know if there's more to be said. It's just stupid. Like, it's just so dumb. It's like, it's mediocre at best.
Very.
And like the suspense scenes are anything but that. Anything but that. Like, they are the worst at building like tension. There's no tension in any of these scenes.
No, there really isn't.
And like the camera work isn't that flashy. I mean, there's nothing here. It's just a fine. It's mediocre.
It's special. It's
just stupid. It kind of makes you angry about how simple and stupid it is. Like you want more, and it doesn't give you the more.
The Spirit Halloween puppet wasn't enough for you.
Well, they could have gone like farther with some of this. Like it seemed like some of the scenes wanted to do more crazy shit, but they just couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
I just don't get it. Like they you could tell they wanted to do more effects. They wanted to do more shit because the guy gets his head ripped off, like, face melted, everything. But it's just stupid. It doesn't look good. Do it. So yeah, that's the Oracle. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it, really.
Is it pretty?
Dude, I'm not gonna. I mean, I can't do low, but like I'm gonna say like a 4.
Yeah.
Would you go lower?
No.
I think a 4, because it's not like offensively bad. It's just boring. Although I will admit, the visor guy, that shit slapped. For me only.
Only you.
Only me would get enjoyment out of that scene. Are
yeah.
you changing your review? Your score?
No.
I think a 4. I think I'm good with a 4. You can give it whatever rating you want, dude.
I'll give it a 5 because it is entertaining in its stupidity, but it definitely doesn't go as hard as you would want it to.
I'm just giving it a 4 because I found myself, for me personally, more just annoyed at like certain scenes. And
the one thing that did annoy me is the amount of fake outs in like the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fake outs.
There are some good effects in here though, and like, I mean, like I said, it just, if it was a different director, a different crew, because you could tell there was something there, but they just couldn't.
It is funny to me though how inconsequential so much of it is.
Well, nothing really matters.
Other than the main character and like her investigation, I guess, all of the other stuff is pointless.
Because there's no point in telling us about this guy that got murdered by his wife, and
well, that's the plot of the movie.
Like, I mean, it's like
what I mean is
what's the
point of the super dying?
The whole point is just for her to become the next Oracle. But why do we care?
That's inconsequential. Other than her investigating and discovering who murdered the guy and all that shit, that's all pointless. Because like
the other death scenes are just for like what was the point of the therapist?
To die in an elevator that we never find out about. Again, it's inconsequential.
Yeah,
because it's like, is the therapist murdered by the same spirit? Why?
Well, I'm assuming it's anyone who gets in her way because the Oracle is protected by a demonic spirit.
I guess
that might be what they were going for, but
all of this might have been explained by our man in the visor. but we will never know.
I'm not going back and watching it. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
There's no point.
it's a one and done.
Yeah, so that was it. That's the Oracle. That's really all I have to say. Go watch it just for the guy in the visor and see if you break as much as I do, because I don't know why, but tonight was the night.
Yeah, watch it, and I guarantee you will not break as much. But maybe some other scene will break you, like a chase scene.
I don't understand. I'm still trying to wrap my head around why that scene got me so good.
It's just a mystery for the ages. I don't know.
It is.
An ancient mystery.
Will never be solved. It's a power that is ancient.
The power of the visor.
You know what? I get the tagline now. That is the literal tagline.
The tagline isn't talking about the ghost. It's talking about the man in the visor.
It's a power that is ancient.
He was ancient.
The power of the green visor is ancient.
I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
That's genius.
That was it. Thanks, Oracle. Thanks for answering that. You know what? It's not inconsequential now. I'm changing my score, 10 out of 10.
Brain exploder, man.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah.
That was the Oracle. This has been Will.
This has been Alex.
We have been They Mostly Come Out at Night, and we will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye. A power that is ancient. Yeah, no shit.
Ancient visors, bro.
Fucking, whoa, mind melter.